My name is Annette with Annabelle Cakes, and it makes me so happy that you've clicked on this video today. We're going to be making a hedgehog cupcake, and they're so cute. So I'm so glad that you're here, and I think we're going to have a good time and make something really cute and fun for your dessert table. Before we get started, I just wanted to go ahead and do my WWJD portion of the video because I think that's as important as what we make. And what I was thinking of today was a few years ago, my grandson, he's almost 16 now, but at the time he was just baptized. He was about 7 or 8 years old. And I thought, I'm going to start trying to get him to memorize some of these Bible verses just to kind of give him a snapshot of who Jesus is and what is important as far as being a follower of Jesus. And ours was a long distance relationship, so we spent a lot of time in the car. So one of my favorite verses as far as what Jesus is all about is found in Acts 10, verse 38. And just to condense it, it's basically Jesus was anointed by the Holy Spirit and then went around doing good. And I thought that's a good one for him to start with. So we worked on that verse and worked on that verse and worked on that verse. And at the end of it, the best he could do was, well, Jesus was annoyed by the Holy Spirit, but he just left and went about doing good. And I thought, well, not exactly, but that's close enough. That'll be good enough. So I just want to simply say, no matter what your higher power is or what your belief system is, those are words for everybody. Just go about doing good. So whoever you are, whatever you are, just do that. The world really needs for you to show up and do good. And that's all I'm going to say. That's enough. All right, so give me a minute to go in my workroom and set everything up so we can make our hedgehog heads, and then we'll get started. Thank you, and I'll see you in just a second. All right, so the first thing we're going to do to make our hedgehog cupcakes, we're going to go ahead and make all the heads you're going to need for your project. I've already gotten a dozen made here for a project I'm working on right now. And these might look a little bit scary, but they are so simple to make. Just go ahead and make all that you need at one time and get it over with. They're simple to make, but you are going to need some stuff. You'll need a small fondant roller, your white and pink fondant, your circle cutters for the head, the ears, and you'll need a little cutter for the inside of the ears for the pink. I cannot find a circle cutter that small, but I have this decorating tip. It's a Wilton number 10 with a little bit larger opening. Works perfectly, and they're very inexpensive. I'm going to also be using a clay extruder, and I'll talk to you about that in just a little bit. And then from your toolbox, you'll need the baller tool, an X-Acto knife, paintbrush, and I still haven't figured out what this is called, but I use it to poke their eyes, to put them into place. Your little black seed pearls, and of course a ramekin of water. So let me get myself situated here so we can get started. So you'll roll your white fondant into a ball about the size of a cake pop. It doesn't need to be any bigger than that. So you'll just what you want to do is just go north, south, east, and west on your ball and just kind of flatten it out to where you're creating a little mound in the middle of your ball, because that's going to be the snout. Chasing it all over my board here. That's going to be the snout for your hedgehog. So you just keep working your magic here. Now mine is just got a little bit of a crack in it, but that's okay because we're going to be covering that. This part, the end of it doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be covered up. Now you don't want any cracks in the surrounding sections because that's going to be your head. You want it to be smooth. And if your fondant is too dry, which I think is my problem here, you can always just put a little bit of shortening, like Crisco or maybe a store brand that you might use just to put it on your hand, just to give it a little bit more moisture. And I would be excited, and not in a good way, about that end of the snout here being so dried out, but because we're going to cover it up, I'm not going to sweat that. So you just keep using your fondant roller to just form your snout on your hedgehog. You don't want it to be too fat, so you just keep working with it to get it the shape that you want it. And that looks pretty good. So that's kind of what it's going to look like from the side. And you want to try to get it as much the same on each side as you can. And then go ahead and roll out what's left so that your head isn't too thick. And again, that's a little bit dry on the end and cracked, but I'm not going to let that be an issue because we're going to cover that up. So you take your circle cutter and go ahead and cut out the head of your hedgehog. And like I've mentioned in other videos where we've used the cutters from the fondant, sometimes they'll leave little jagged edges on what you're working on. So just make sure you smooth that out because it really does make a difference. All right, I think I'm satisfied with that. Okay, now then we're going to take this poke them in the eye tool and just poke holes where you want your eyes to be. And then just put your seed beads in place for the eyes. I love these little seed beads, the white ones and the black ones. They're just perfect for stuff like this. And it gives them a little shine, so it actually looks like eyeballs. Now, for the pink nose, this is where I use this clay extruder. I love it. You can buy it at the craft store in the pottery department where they have pottery cutters and supplies. It's about $13, and I use it a lot. It comes with several different size tips. You have circles and triangles and squares and the grass or hair end, and it's so great. It makes perfect letters, borders around your other decorations. It's just a very versatile tool, and for me it was just $13 well spent. So you just put on the end that you want. You just have to work with your fondant, just roll it like a little log, stick it in the end, put this in here, and you just push it out. This is where you're going to use your X-Acto knife just to cut it. And I don't usually use the very first one because it's not pretty. But then you just kind of roll it out, push it out, and cut it with your X-Acto knife. And I can see from what I'm doing, I need to put a new blade on my knife. Again, just go ahead and cut out however many you're going to need for your project. Just get it all done at one time. Make sure they're nice and smooth on the edges. You might need to just flatten them out a little bit. And that makes the perfect snout. And again, if you don't want to have to go out and buy any extra stuff, you can just roll a little ball. You can use this for your cutter. Voila, you have a nose. So now we're going to take just a little bit of our water and dab it on the end here. That'll be our glue that kind of keeps these together. I'm going to put that on the end there. It covered up our little dry spot. And when it dries, it's not going to come out or come off. Now for the ears, you use this little cutter here. And again, I just go ahead and cut them all out at the same time, however many you're going to need. I sat down the other day and did a dozen, so that was a little bit of a project, but you can see how quickly this is going. And then use the small end of your baller tool just to kind of make a place to put your pink inner ear, just to give it some color. And then just roll out a little bit of pink fondant. And again, if you don't have this tip, Hobby Lobby, every other week when they have Cake Week, you can get it for practically nothing, less than $1. And this is stuff I use so much. I have a lot of stuff, but I use a lot of stuff. And then we're going to just add a little bit of water here to glue it in place so it doesn't be sliding off. Here we go. And then when you get them all made, just go ahead and set them aside and let them dry. Well, I keep pulling that out of there until you're ready to finish up your cupcakes. So that just took a couple of minutes, and it was just quick and easy. It's so cute. And again, I've just gone ahead and made my dozen. So now we're going to move into the kitchen and we're going to decorate some cupcakes. So I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. So now comes the fun part of doing these cupcakes. Now for these cupcakes, we're using what everybody refers to as Russian tips. But because I'm a child of the 60s and I remember the Cold War, I prefer to call them other country tips. So if you have never seen them before, excuse me for licking my fingers, this icing is good. This is what they look like. Now, we'll tell you, these will test your patience, because if your icing isn't just the right consistency, they're not going to come out right. So you may have to really work at your icing to get it to where it'll squirt out the way it's supposed to. For mine, what I did today, and it seems to work really well, I used the butter and the buttercream, but I didn't add any cream like I normally do. So it's butter, a stick of butter, room temperature, powdered sugar till you get it to where the consistency you need it. And because this is what I wanted for these particular cupcakes, I used lemon juice to give my icing my flavor. And so I filled my bag with my other country tip. Now you'll want to practice a couple of swipes before you actually put it on your cupcake. So I'm just using a plain old paper plate here. So just give it a little try. Oh my gosh, I love this. Look how cute that is. Again, these Russian tips, other country tips, are so persnickety, but you are going to absolutely love what the end product looks like. I love this. All right, so I don't need to practice anymore. So before you get started, you'll want to crumb coat your cupcake so this icing has something to stick to, okay? And then I just start in the middle and work my way out. Just wanted to make sure you could see what I was doing. Oh man, I just love this. How cute. Now you can get crazy with your color combinations. Just for simplicity's sake, for this one, I'm just going to go with one color. And I actually mixed it with my base color, so they're coming out a little bit variegated, but not a lot. But oh my gosh, I love this. So then, this is what it looks like. Isn't that pretty? I love it. I get excited about this. So now we're going to fill in the naked parts. Can you say that on film? She said with a quiet little blush. And we're just going to put some leaves in here just to give it a little extra color. I'm getting so excited about this project. I love these cupcakes, these tips, and they've just got a real big assortment of these tips, and it does take practice and perseverance to get them to do what you need for them to do. But I'm going to tell you what, once you get the hang of it, it's worth it. All right, okay, so glitter girl that I am, you know I've got to add a little sparkly. I forgot that. Bear with me just 1 second. I get my white pearls. I'm almost there. Don't give up on me. Ah, here they are. I'm sorry, I should have already had those out. So I'm just going to do just a few, just to give it that little extra something something. Okay, look how pretty. Now the fun part comes. We get to add our little personality to it. So here's our head, and we're just going to stick that here at the front. And I'm just going to add a little bit more of this just to hide some sin here. And then you add your ears. And I can't believe I did this, but I let myself run out of red luster dust. So normally what I would do is just put a little bit of red luster dust to make cheeks, and also do the inside of the ears, or just like we did in the making the head, you can use pink fondant for the inside of the ears. But I'm just gonna give it a few more squirts of the green. And look how cute that is. That would be so pretty just to give us a little extra birthday gift, or make a whole plate of them and have them sitting on your dessert table. They're so cute. I love these cupcakes, and they're a little bit more time consuming than the average cupcake, but the end result is so worth it. And I'm going to take this sparkly just a little another step. Well, I found this spray-on glitter, gold glitter. It just gives it a little light shimmer. This is optional, but I love glitter, so I'm just gonna give it a little sprinkle here. I think I got too much, if that's possible. I don't know if you can see that, but it is glistening and glittering. It is just so pretty. A little dab will do it, but oh man, that is the cutest cupcake. So I hope this has given you the confidence that you can make your own. The other country tips are available just about anywhere that sells cake decorating tips. I buy mine again at Hobby Lobby, and they're not paying me to say this, but every other week, they have Cake Week, and most of their, not all, but most of their cake decorating tools are on sale for half price. So that's when you buy this stuff. You can buy this, which I love, in your sparklies. And look how cute that is. You can use different colors. Of course, this plate kind of clashes with it, but there it is. So I hope you like the cupcake. Get excited about it like I am. Of course, I'm at that age where I'm easily excited and easily impressed, but I think that's adorable. I do a farmer's market once a week downtown where I live, and I'm taking some of these to put on my table. Again, my name is Annette with Annabelle Cakes, and I'm trying to grow this channel. It's brand new. She doesn't have a clue what she's doing, so she's learning as she goes, but we're trying hard. So if you would subscribe to the channel, I'd appreciate that. I'd be so grateful. And if you'd like the video, I'd be grateful for that too, because that does help this channel grow. I want to get this to where a lot of people are seeing it, and it's a good thing for you and a good thing for me. So again, thank you so much for visiting today, and I'll see you next time.